Hi, this is Dave Vincent. Welcome back to WPHLive TV. The studio's here. We call it the Green Room in Tucson, Arizona. Special guest is in Vegas today. Now imagine this. From 1976 to 1990, nobody was better. He was either ranked number 1 or number 2 in his sport. During that same exact span, 100 international or national titles under his belt and 6 U.S. national singles championships for the sport of racquetball. We're talking about smokin' Marty Hogan. Now, not only obviously a legend in racquetball, but a great handball player, also excellent at paddleball as well. We're going to chat with him in just a few. Why is he in Vegas? Well, the September 3-wall ball outdoor world championships are also in Vegas from September 21st through the 25th, and you can now get your entry in and join in the 3 different sports that are playing: racquetball, handball, paddleball. We construct 14 portable courts right across the street from the Stratosphere Hotel, Tower, and Casino, where you can just mosey on over there, play some handball, hit the strip, and have a great time. More information is listed at 3wallball.com. That's 3wallball.com. You can find your online entry there, as well as links to the registration page at r2sports.com for all 3 of those sports. And of course, at any time, if you want to email us, you can at info@WPHLive.tv. Do not forget about Vegas. It's a rare tournament. Over 800 players combined is about the average that we get each year. And World Outdoor Racquetball teaming up with the World Players of Handball and the National Paddleball Association alongside Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower, and 3-wall ball makes for a great event. Let's go to Marty Hogan, who is sitting, waiting for me to wrap all of this up. Let's talk about Vegas, Marty. You're practicing on those outdoor courts right now as a tune-up for September, plus hitting the town. I know that you've played here in that inaugural year. What are you looking forward to come this September?
I think that, well, one, this is a great warm-up for the event, for the 3-wall ball event. I think we all know that the 3-wall ball event is one of the top 2 biggest events in racquetball, but it's really the biggest event because it brings paddleball, racquetball, and the handball communities all together in one really colossal event. And where else to have it but in Las Vegas? So it's actually one of my favorite events, and it's actually an event that has just been tremendous for all the sports.
A lot of people don't realize this, or maybe they just don't remember, but you are an excellent paddleball player. And I've seen you play handball. You're really good at that sport as well. Isn't this event that we're having in September a perfect tournament for a guy like you?
Oh yeah, I think that the one thing that's great about the 3-wall ball event is that, yes, all through my career I have played, everybody knows I played racquetball, but I have played paddleball and I have played some handball, both indoor and outdoor big ball handball. And I find just the fitness and the fun of all the sports, they all carry over to each other, and they're both all the sports are just a sport that everybody can sort of naturally pick up because it's the same dynamics of playing on a court. So yeah, I love it, and I think that it's great to participate in all the sports.
Is there another player out there that you get compared to often?
I think that when you take a look at some of the probably the one guy is probably Robert Salstre, the Iceman. I mean, to me, he's the greatest. He is the greatest all-around handball, paddleball, racquetball athlete ever. I mean, that's played at such an extremely high level. I don't know that I can be compared to him or whatever, but I just sort of see that he just has got such a love for all the sports and has excelled at such an incredible angle.
I agree with you on that. Robert Salstre, one of the greatest all-around players there is in the game. He's won this multiple times and is probably one of the greatest outdoor threats when it comes to racquetball, paddleball, and handball of all time. And he will certainly be at the event this year coming up in September. Speaking of following Robert Salstre's career, do you follow much of the sport since you retired?
I follow it. Relatively as well as I can. I'm always interested in how the sport is doing, both professionally, amateur, and then also some of the new events that have sort of popped up. I'm also really surprised about how many requests I get that people remember me to go out of the country to come and play. I'm really very much surprised that the sport is really really grown, and it is growing a lot more in a lot of different countries right now than in the U.S. But I follow the sport. I think that some of the athletes, I mean, you know, like Kane that plays today, I think he's the greatest player ever. I think what he has proved year in and year out about maintaining a level of excellence, I think hasn't been done by anybody.
For the sport's future, how important is it to have the cameras on, attention from ESPN, venues like the Stratosphere in cities like Las Vegas, putting on a show and marketing to these fans?
There's no question that the exposure of racquetball, paddleball, and handball, anytime we can get it exposed on TV and get it exposed to people that have never seen it, is the value of that is immeasurable. That's the one thing. I mean, early on in my career and stuff, there wasn't a lot of the cable networks and whatever. We did get picked up by ABC and CBS during the heyday, and racquetball was exposed. But I just think that, you know, ESPN coming out, being a part of the three-wall ball event is just something that is just going to help this event grow and grow and grow, which is I think what's everybody's goal. Everybody's goal in an outdoor is for the sports to be exposed and for people to come out, participate, get the exercise, and know how just great all the sports are.
You know, we all work very close together with the National Paddleball Association, threewallball.com, World Outdoor Racquetball, Stratosphere, their sponsors, ESPN. How important is it for all of these organizations to get together like they are right now? And do you ever recall it being like this in your playing days?
I don't. In the early playing days, I mean, the indoor game was so dominant that there really wasn't sort of the growth and the popularity that has come on over the last 10 to 15 years for outdoor racquetball and handball and paddleball. I do think that it's a tremendous, tremendous accomplishment, maybe the biggest and most important accomplishment, that the three sports came together as one to form this great event. I mean, that goes to show you that there is some new leadership, there are some open minds, and there is some and basically everybody's willing to share in the pie of the exposure of all these great sports. And that to me is the reason why I support anything and everything that three-wall ball does, paddleball, handball, and my appreciation for how great the handball players are. I think it's just fantastic that everybody comes together.
Let's stay on your playing days just really briefly here. Go back to your prime. What from today's world would you take back to 1970, 1980, and the 90s? And then what would you take from back in those days and wish that they had it here today?
Back, you know, in the heyday of racquetball, during the real heyday of my career, when the indoor sport and racquetball was exploding, I really wish that we could have that new resurgence today for the pros and for the sport. There's just was a level of interest, a level of sponsorship, and everything that everybody I think remembers during the late 70s and 80s of racquetball that got it the visibility and basically had the leadership in the organizations back then, which is the real key to the success. I mean, the leadership that we had in racquetball was the best ever, and then the sport, quite frankly, grew because we had tremendous leadership and tremendous just excitement and just people coming to the game and just enjoying it. But I think that, you know what, in my opinion, the thing that can raise the tide of all the sports is the outdoor part of all of the sports. Being outside, exposing it to greater, to different venues, and then also to the capacities of people.
Let's go and still stay on the past really quickly here. Describe the outdoor scene back in the 70s and 80s. Has it changed? And was it better, or is today better than it was back then?
I think that definitely the play today, the players are better players. When I was playing outdoor, a couple things that were different is like there was an outdoor community, and they said that the indoor community could not play, with them. And then, quite frankly, that's what brought us out to Orange County and brought us out to Southern California with the Barry Wallaces and Dean Wenzel, some of the great early pioneers of outdoor racquetball. And then when we came out, like in '78 and '79, when I was lucky enough to win, I mean, at Orange Coast College, I think it was, in my opinion, I think it was the largest crowd to ever watch racquetball. There was well over 2,000 people that came just to watch. So, I mean, that was tremendous, and I do believe that in the future there will be opportunities for the pros and for outdoor to have the largest venues of any of the of any paddleball, indoor paddleball, handball, or whatever. And that's why I think the future, a real bright future for the sports, is the outdoor games.
Let's stay on this subject here. How important do you think the outdoor game is, racquetball and handball, paddleball for that matter, are to the individual sport's growth?
I think it's very important. I think it's an important asset, and I also think that I would like to see more of the indoor pros come out and play outdoor, because it just deals with a whole kind of different dimension of playing, and it will show. I think it shows a little bit more athleticism outdoor than it does indoor, because you just have to deal with more of an open court, open space, a lot more distance to cover. And then, quite frankly, in doubles and stuff, you know, you've got to make sure your shots are really precise, because if you've got a partner, you guys can get almost every ball back.
Come September, the biggest show in town will be right here on the Vegas Strip at the Stratosphere. World Outdoor Racquetball, National Paddleball Association, World Players of Handball, and I'm pleased to announce with this interview that we're having right now that you will be playing in the event this September.
Oh, I think it's the best. I think that the event here that Three Wall Ball has put on, the hard work that Mike Coulter and his group have done throughout the years, and really Mike should really be patted on the back, because Mike is one of the few guys across the country who just has a real passion for the sport, and always has. Through the ups and downs, Mike remembers the heyday, remembers the sort of the drought of the sport, and then sort of like a resurgence, and he's been here the whole way through. And Mike really is one of the gems of our sport that has kept it really, you know, has been behind the scenes, and it kept the sport sort of alive and going, and put out the effort to make the events happen. And then his little baby now has really grown up to be really quite the event. It's one of the biggest events in all of racquetball and handball. So he should be commended.
Well, no doubt about that. Mike Coulter putting on a show every single year. Thanks for stopping by, Marty Hogan, and enjoy your weekend there in Las Vegas. And we hope to see you here in September from the 21st through the 25th. You too could participate. Go to threewallball.com. Get more information about the Outdoor World Championships with handball, racquetball, and paddleball, and so much fun. Come as a spectator, or you can watch it live with WPHLive.tv and friends. And hopefully we'll be bringing along ESPN as well. Go on to r2sports.com, search your respective sport, enter and play in what is truly one of the greatest outdoor events in our schedule. It's September 21st through the 25th. Browse the tabs on R2 Sports or even at threewallball.com to find special hotel deals at the Stratosphere Hotel and Casino. Thanks for tuning in. We'll have more updates with our radio cast at WPHLive.tv, and we will be updating threewallball.com to bring you more individual updates with the Outdoor Cup going on for all of the sports as well.
You play with somebody as talented as this.
They're there for a reason, so I got to go in there ready to play.
Now it's 11-11. The winner will win the cup, and it all comes down to this.
Everything on the line on this point, Dave, all season for 1 point.
It's Juan Santos again. It's Juan Santos again. It's Juan